Welcome back to another episode of the Somers Sports Broadcast. We have Season 4, Episode 10, our first episode back from our holiday break. I'm Brandon, with me is Cooper. We'll jump right in with our Somers Sports Recap. Cooper, why don't you start us off with Varsity Boys Basketball?
So Varsity Boys Basketball on December 16th won against JJCR 70-64.
On the 18th, they lost to Putnam Valley 70-66.
On January 2nd, they won at Hen Hudson.
And on the 3rd, they lost at Tappan Zee 51-26.
Now with Varsity Girls Basketball, we lost against Mayapack 53-40.
On the 20th, they lost to Roy C. Ketchum 50-40.
On January 5th, we lost to Pleasantville 49-33.
And on the 7th, they lost 39-38.
And on January 5th, the boys and girls track team won the league championship. Congratulations.
And now we will go on to our Freshman Boys Basketball interview. Today we have 3 players from the Somers Freshmen Boys Basketball team here today with us for an interview. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hudson Meza, Johnny DeVito,
Nick Whipple.
All right, we're kicking off. First question. You have a game tonight. What is your mindset going to be for that game?
Well, we had a tough loss against Westlake. A lot of mental mistakes. We're going into this game. High energy, communication. We're ready to take this W.
Yeah, we've been preparing for this game for a while. It's a big one.
Yeah.
And then, how's your season going right now, and why do you think that?
We started off slow, missing a lot of layups. 5-4 right now.
All right.
We could be a lot better, but it's gonna take some time. We need to communicate more.
Yeah, we need to communicate more. Even our presses are not that good. We gotta get better.
And then individually, what part of your game are you each looking to get better at?
Definitely making layups, yeah.
Definitely our free throws we've been struggling with.
I need to start slowing the game down and taking control.
And then, is there something that you're still working on in practice to get better at that?
We're doing a lot of layup drills through contact. A lot of free throw drills, yeah.
Yeah, and also our shooting drills, helping us make some threes, some mid-ranges.
Definitely our press breaker. We're working on that a lot, getting that stronger and being more efficient with it.
In what ways make like a perfect game for you guys? Like what do you have to do, and how do you feel after a game that makes it perfect?
Definitely getting to the rim. The energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could definitely tell when we're clicking.
Okay.
That's chemistry.
Yeah, steals, fast breaks, open layups, make them.
Do you have any strengths that you're exploiting on the other teams when you're playing them? And is there any weaknesses that they're finding out as the game goes on?
Definitely our press. They've been struggling.
Yeah, they're struggling to break the press a lot.
Yeah.
Our strength is definitely our fast breaks, how fast we are. We definitely use our speed to our advantage. But our weaknesses, maybe we're missing a lot of layups out there, which could be a lot better. But
So do you guys feel like the defense is strong, and like why is that?
Yeah, we have a very good defense. Coach McNee set it up very well. It's a 2-3.
And to wrap it up here, mid-game, during that game, what is each of your mindsets?
my mindset is definitely, from the first whistle, we like to get off from the jump, get our fast breaks going. But,
Attack the rim, definitely.
My mindset: spread the ball out. Try to get everybody some points. But at the end of the day, just take the W.
All right, thank you for coming in with us,
Thanks,
guys. Good luck with your upcoming games.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now on to our wild card weekend recap. Cooper, why don't you start us off?
So the Bears beat the Packers 31-27 in the NFC wild card, rallying from a whopping 21-3 halftime deficit for their biggest playoff comeback ever, with 25 points in the fourth quarter alone. Bears rookie quarterback Caleb Williams threw for 361 yards with 2 touchdowns, and Chicago earned its first playoff win since 2010, ending Green Bay season. Next, the 49ers squeaked out a win against the Philadelphia Eagles 23-19 in a windy NFC wildcard playoff game, with Brock Purdy throwing 262 and 2 touchdowns and Jalen Hurts with 168 yards. Philly had one last chance to get a touchdown in the final minute, but a devastating drop on third down to make it 4th and 13 cost them the game. Unfortunately, San Francisco star tight end George Kittle left the game early with a serious Achilles injury, and it is highly unlikely that he'll be returning for the rest of the season.
Then we have the Rams. They beat the Panthers 34-31 in their wildcard game. Carolina took a 31-27 lead with under 3 minutes left after a blocked punt, and that led to a touchdown. Matthew Stafford responded with a clutch game-winning drive. Stafford capped it with a late touchdown pass to Cole Parkinson, and the Rams defense held on to seal the win, and they're going to advance into the next round of the playoffs.
Up next, we have NFL head coach predictions. Brandon, how about you start us off?
So I'm going to do the Browns and Raiders. The Browns could hire Mike Vrabel as a head coach. He has proven his ability to build tough, disciplined teams and maximize talent fits. It fits a roster built to win, and now he's going to have to stabilize a chaotic organization. And the Raiders, they could hire Ben Johnson as a head coach because of his creative, aggressive offensive style and success developing quarterbacks would help modernize the Las Vegas offense and bring some long-term stability to them.
Now, according to other sources online, the people say that the Cardinals will hire a new head coach and potentially move on from Kyler Murray to reset the franchise, while the Falcons are expected to pick an experienced coach, Stefanski among the top targets, under a new restructured leadership to kick off a rebuild. However, a more logistical way for the Cardinals, to me, is to keep Kyler Murray and just get a new head coach that actually knows what plays to call.
Interesting there. Now we'll go on to our NFC, AFC winner predictions. So these will be the two teams that would be in the Super Bowl against each other. We're not going to predict the Super Bowl quite yet. We'll do that later in this episode. We will start with our AFC and NFC predictions. So I think that from the AFC side, it's going to have the Patriots. I think, everyone says that they had an easy schedule, but as you see, they won their playoff game. They won their wildcard game, and they're proving now that there is, even though they had an easy schedule, they still absolutely dominated that schedule. And then on the NFC side, I think we're going to have the obvious choice of the Seahawks all the way to the Super Bowl.
Partly agreeing with Brandon, I think the Patriots are also going to make the Super Bowl. They're the best in the AFC East. They've beaten the Bills. They've beaten all the other top teams. I wouldn't say an easy schedule. It's tough to say, but Patriots have been doing really well this season. So it's looking good for them in the playoffs. And for the NFC, I have the 49ers. I feel like that they had a pretty good second half of their season, and that they're kind of catching fire right now. I think it's going to be a big brawl between the Seahawks and the Niners, but I'm looking forward to the Niners making the Super Bowl this year. Up next, we have MLB Winter Meetings Recap.
Yeah, I'll just go over that quickly. So there were several high-profile free agents signed, with a few headlines moves setting the market early. Teams were active, but still cautious. They prioritized targets for upgrades over blockbuster deals. Some clubs quietly improved their depths, while others they still have some work to do. And overall, the winter meetings set the tone for the rest of the offseason and shaped the beginning of the 2026 season. And moving on to those moves that may have been influenced by the meetings, we had Blake Snell. He signed after the winter meetings. He landed a long-term deal once the pitching market fully developed. Then you had Alex Bregman, who agreed to a major contract extension with the Astros after that, locking in a franchise cornerstone. Dylan Cease was traded in a blockbuster deal weeks after the meetings as teams revisited what their rotations needed. And several late bullpen moves, including Josh Hader changing teams. That's going to change up the bullpens closer to spring training. And now we have an NBA recap the past few weeks here. Cooper, would you like to enlighten us?
I'd love to. Tyrese Maxey and Denis Avdija have stood out with the Player of the Week honors, while Trae Young's blockbuster trade to the Wizards shook up the league. Teams are managing injuries and load, impacting performances. Stars like Nikola Topic aim for a strong comeback this season.
And now on to our NHL recap. Patrick Kane, he hit 500 career goals, and Leandro Sato reached 1,000 points as the Rangers won the Winter Classic against the Panthers. The Sabres extended a winning streak, and playoff races are heating up. Key players and tight competition are shaping the midseason story.
All right, welcome back to the Somer Sports Broadcasting, Season 4, Episode 10. This is Part 2. So, first things first, we're going to quickly recap the NFL divisional round, and we'll start with you, Brandon.
Yeah, so the Texans and the Patriots, they played a physical, defensive-heavy game, and New England controlled the momentum with timely stops and turnovers. Houston, they struggled to sustain drives, and they had constant mistakes on offense, and that kept them from fully capitalizing on scoring opportunities. The Patriots capitalized on those errors and leaned on their defense, pulled away late to secure the win, 28-16.
Thank you, Brandon. The Rams beat the Bears 20-17 in overtime in the NFC divisional playoff game. Chicago had a crazy late comeback with the now viral video of Caleb Williams to Cole Kmet touchdown after Williams was pressured to run backwards about 15 yards on 4th and 4 to send the game to overtime. But later, Williams threw a devastating interception, and Rams kicker Harrison Mevis hit the winning 42-yard field goal to send LA to the championship NFC.
The Seahawks-49ers game was not even close. No competition throughout the entire game. The Seahawks put up 17 points in the first quarter and didn't allow the Niners any points in the second half. Final score 41-6, and the Seattle Seahawks are going to move on.
All right, so back on the AFC side, the Broncos beat the Bills 33-30. So it was a really tough game. The Broncos were actually up 20-10, and Josh Allen committed 4 turnovers. So the Bills had, I think, a total of 5 turnovers. 4 of them were by Josh Allen on a bunch of fumbles, interceptions, and then late in the game, the Bills were able. They were down, I think, 30-27, I think, and then Matt Prater came out and hit a 50-yard field goal and sent it to overtime. Then Josh Allen threw an interception, which was a very controversial call. Most people thought it was a catch, but the refs ruled it an interception. Going into overtime, Matt Prater hit a 50-yard field goal to make it 30-30, sending the Buffalo Bills into overtime. Josh Allen was able to go down the field, and unfortunately through a very controversial call that was ruled an interception later. The Broncos went downfield, and they were able to score a field goal, and they won the game 33-30. And unfortunately, Bo Nix, on the second to last play of the game, I believe he tore his ACL, so now he's going to be out for the AFC Championship.
Is that everyone?
I'm so hot. I'm so sorry. It's okay.
I'll say that. Now, guys, giving the teams remaining in the playoffs, who do you think is going to make the Super Bowl? Jack, you want to start?
Me personally, I have the Rams and the Broncos going head-to-head in San Francisco.
For me, I have the Broncos and the Seahawks. I think, given that both the teams are number 1 in the division and they're still going strong in the playoffs, I have the Broncos and the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl this year.
I find it interesting that both of you guys have the Broncos making it to the Super Bowl, given that they have some no-name backup quarterback playing against
Jared Stidham.
Yeah, playing against the Patriots. So I have the Patriots advancing to the Super Bowl, beating Broncos. I also have the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. I believe that they are gonna come out on top and be the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I actually have the Rams and the Patriots because the Broncos, they have Jared Stidham, and he's not that bad. It's just he's a backup quarterback with no real actual playing time. And then I have the Rams because I know that Zach Charbonnet was actually just ruled out recently. And I do think that even though the Rams are going to be in Seattle, I do think that the Rams are going to win. And I think it's going to be a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl.
It's kind of.
And now on to head coach news, most recent few things for head coaches in the NFL. The New York Giants have officially hired John Harbaugh as their new head coach on a reported 5-year deal after firing Brian Daboll at the conclusion of the 2025 season. John is one of the most experienced leaders following his long tenure with the Ravens and a Super Bowl title. Many see his arrival as a fresh start aimed at turning around the franchise's recent struggles and pushing toward a possible playoff return in 2026.
Yeah, so the Bills have finally fired Sean McDermott after 9 seasons. I think he was the 5th coach in the league, I believe, to have the longest streak to be a head coach. It was just behind Mike Tomlin and Andy Reid and some other people. So they fired Sean McDermott. They got Brandon everything. You'd think they'd get a new general manager, even though Brandon Beane was horrible. So you think they'd give it, but no. Now he's in charge of finding a new head coach. So the Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott, and the Steelers have officially parted ways with Mike Tomlin. I believe he was their head coach for 19 seasons or 18 seasons. He's never had a losing record. So now almost the entire AFC North has had a new head coach.
And finally, the Miami Dolphins have hired Jeff Hafley as their new head coach, replacing Mike McDaniels after Miami finished 7-10 and missed the playoffs. Hafley, previously the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator, signed a multi-year deal and is expected to help revamp the Dolphins under the new general manager, John Eric Sullivan.
Finally, we have our college football championship recap. The Indiana Hoosiers won their first ever national championship by beating the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 at Hard Rock Stadium, completing a remarkable undefeated 16-0 season and one of the college football's biggest turnaround stories. Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza led Indiana with a gritty performance capped by a pivotal 12-yard touchdown run on 4th down late in the 4th quarter. While Indiana's defense sealed the win with a late interception, Miami mounted a second-half comeback but couldn't quite overtake the Hoosiers, who controlled enough key moments to secure the title.
And that's going to wrap it up for Season 4, Episode 10 of the Somers Sports Broadcast. We're the Somers Sports Broadcasting Club.
See you next week.